So basically, this afternoon is Chevening Informational Session Q&A with the uh, alumni Hansley. I can't say the surname, so you can say it yourself. Yes, thank you so much for joining us, uh, making your time available to join us. So Hansley and I, we from the same cohort, and he studied Masters in Infrastructure Planning at Oxford Brookes University. He's the founder of an NGO called Kundu Sessions, a platform where developing and connecting subject matter experts from different fields, high school right across university, connecting. So he's currently working in the development sector. Yeah, so if anyone in the background of infrastructure, urban infrastructure, governance specialist, we have Chevening alumni from that field. You can reach out and connect with. And he's also one of the low emerging young leaders for this last year. Is it last year or this year? I think this year. I saw you taking part in the dialogue. Yes. So thank you so much for joining in. I'm just gonna go on with the slide on just information now. So what is Chevening? For those who don't know, it's a UK government international scholarship program funded by Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, FCDO, and partner organization, the universities as well. And it's aimed at developing global young leaders who are part of the Commonwealth. And they can return home, upskill them, return home, and contribute to a positive change. So it provides a full financial support. Sorry, I'll be admitting people into the room as they come in. So, yeah, so pursue 1 year taught master's degree in UK at any UK university, Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and England. So, any university there, starting from September uh, 2026 to September 2027. That's the academic year. And the scholarship covers, it's fully funded, covers tuition fees, travel cost, monthly allowance, visa fees, and other allowances. For passport, you have to pay for it yourself, as well as English proficiency test is something that you have to meet uh, in your application portal when you apply. So it's open to Chevening eligible countries, including Papua New Guinea. The selection criteria for this scholarship is demonstrated on leadership potential, network ability, academic excellence, and a clear career plan. So it's not only an academic excellence. If you have years of experience, it also add to you getting that scholarship as long as you have demonstrated leadership potential. And in the future, you'll be the next leader for Papua New Guinea. So this scholarship is really anyone can apply as long as you have demonstrated examples of leadership. So at the end of the scholarship, you must return home at least for 2 years after completing your studies, and then afterwards, if you want to go back to UK, you can go back. Um, so who is eligible to apply for Chevening? At least 2 years of work experience, strictly 2 years post graduation, meaning your volunteer work during your undergrad doesn't count, so this is one of the change. And then if you can articulate good examples of your influence and leadership skills, your networking skills, good at building professional relationship, and solution focused, determined to play a role in solving world's most pressing challenges, and in Papua New Guinea as well. So if you're one of these individual in Papua New Guinea that is driving change in your community, your organization, improving outcomes for others, solving a specific challenge, successfully implementing a project or an idea that had tangible impact, then you are someone that Chevening is looking for and most eligible to apply um as long as you're it's in line with, I'm just trying to look up the plans that's in line with UK. Just give me a second. Um So the global priorities for UK is promoting growth and prosperity, building resilience in climate vulnerable world, strengthening security and stability in a volatile world, supporting development for more inclusive and effective societies. So as long as your leadership is or you are writing towards this or your career, what you are doing is along these global priorities and in UK and in line with our national development goals and plans, and then you are most likely eligible to apply for the scholarship. So the Chevening application timeline opens on 5th of August. It's already opened, and application portal will close on October 25th, and you will hear your results between June and July. So any more information you need or key dates, you can type on Google Chat search engine, and then you look up, even use chatbot or chat GPT to know about this information, but it's strictly advised not to use AI generated essays. There's algorithms or programs that will pick that up. So once that's detected, you're not going to be successful or proceeding on from that. But that's basically Chevening, what this Chevening scholarship is about. We'll just share this information with many others who missed the British High Commission session that was run last Friday at the UPNG campus. So yeah, that's briefly I can go through about Chevening. Chevening in Papua New Guinea started in 1983, and we have over 140 alumni. And Hansley and I and those of our era are trying to resurrect it. It's been not non-existent, so we are trying our best to at least revive and register an association, and connect to encourage more young Papua New Guineans, aspiring young Papua New Guineans to apply. All right, I think that's it from me. I'll hand it over to Hansley, and then while he's speaking, please, those of you online now, I'll stop sharing, and then you can type in your questions, because after Hansley speaks, we will have the Q&A. So if you have any questions to ask, this is the time you can ask, and Hansley will, yes, you already posted it in the chat box. We'll take on from here, explaining about his tips. What is tips? I'll let him over to Hansley to do the talking, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Roma. I'm assuming everyone can hear me clearly. I'm on my headphones, so just let me know. You can type in if you can't hear me clearly. So like Wilma was saying, I'm also part of the cohort with Logathon. When did we go, Wilma? September 2023. Yeah, we all went across to the UK. I'm going to talk a bit about my experience with the application process, if that's okay with you, Wilma. So I'll just touch on a few things, and then I can share with you some tips quickly on how I approach the process, and just to help you guys understand what you might need to do as you're progressing with it. I'm assuming the couple of guys that are going to on this video call right now, and anyone who joins or watches this online, you'll be committed to the process. So Wilma's just covered the process. In terms of my experience with the process, I started my applications in August, I would say August 2023. A friend of mine sent me the link to the Chevening scholarship. I didn't know what it was previously, but that meant I had to do a lot of research quite quickly on what it was work for the Chevening scholarship. Just to make it clear, the scholarship is separate to the application process for the university. So you need to apply for the university separately. But in saying that, the Chevening scholarship doesn't necessarily need you to have an acceptance by the time you submit or the closing of the what do you call it? The application. You just need a conditional offer, I believe. Um, Meaning that the time frame for application is quite shorter, only about 2 to 3 months for the entire application for the Chevening scholarship. So what I usually advise people is if you're thinking about the scholarship now, you're probably better off placed to apply for it next year or in 12 months. It's typically a 12-month process. If you don't have everything like your IELTS test ready, that's just me when I advise people. But in saying that, my experience with it, I spent a lot of time, probably about 2 months writing the essays because they do take a lot of time to do. And while I was doing the essay, I was also doing the applications and looking for the right schools that I needed, that I wanted to go into. So that really took up a majority of my time. Then I had to go and do the IELTS test. Luckily, I live in Murthy, so it was quite easy for me to access the facilities. I think they're about 400 Australian dollars. So that's about 1,000 kina, if I'm not mistaken, to do that. And that's obviously a cost that you take on board. It won't get reimbursed, I don't think. And then obviously your flights in, if you're not in Murthy, you have to take care of that yourself. So it's a lot of costs that are involved, and you need to be aware of these costs. But the good thing with IELTS, if you do it, it lasts for about 2 years, I think. So you can use it, and it must be the academic IELTS test. Yeah, there you go, about 1,400 kina for the English proficiency test. And yeah, so their schedule, you just have to Google it, find him. So that's how I got through the process. When we did it, the experience levels were quite broad, so you could apply for it straight coming into from undergrad. Now I think what Wilma was saying, the undergrad experience doesn't count anymore. Everything after your undergrad, so when you graduate, meaning that it's primarily targeting people who have been working in the industry for a while. So I was working while I was applying for it, and then I was in the process of wanting to leave my job anyway, so I ended up leaving my job whilst the process was going on. So by the time I submitted my application for Chevening, I had already transitioned out of my then role because as part of my essay, I explained that I was wanting to move into a different career path. And so that was my primary intention from when I started off. The process took about 6 months before I started out working, doing some small odd jobs here and there, while I was waiting for the scholarship to come through. To be fair, I didn't think I would get it, but it takes 6 months and you don't hear anything back, so you just don't know whether you're going to have to look for new work or stick with your current employer. Just going to assume that people are going to ask me questions about this. You're not guaranteed to be employed by any organization when your scholarship abroad. So I actually applied for a new job while I was still in the UK. As soon as I got to the UK, I was applying for jobs back in PNG because I knew I had to come back and find employment. So that's part of the process for applying. You get through the application process. It takes a couple of months. The earliest you hear back is probably February or March, if I if I'm not mistaken. They start talking to you about whether you have your full condition, what is it, Uma? Your full confirmation of enrollment, or like it's basically a
Conditional
full.
offer from the university. Conditional and
That's
unconditional, yeah.
that's
Is it
it. So you typically get your full conditional offer depending on whether they require a certain number of certain requirements that you haven't met yet. But that's in line with most of the UK university admission processes. It's about that time of the year when they would probably start giving you your responses. Only after you get that, I think you can start to engage fully with the British High Com within the country, or the Chevening offices here. So I actually started talking to them properly. April, May. Oh gosh, probably about May. April was my interview, and then I didn't hear back from them for another three months. And then about June, July, they contacted me and said, "Hey, we think you're going to be successful." And by then, I think I was just about transitioning, ready to start doing the whole visa process. And yeah, it's quite a tight squeeze because everything you kind of have to do for yourself as well. They assist where a lot of the work comes down to the individual applicant, which is very standard for a lot of the scholarship processes in PNG at the moment. So that's really my experience with the process of applying. I'll give you guys a couple of my tips on how you should probably approach your essays. Like I was saying, the essay questions are quite time consuming, and you need a lot of thought to go into how you approach your essays. I often tell people who talk to me about the Chevening program or any application program, you really need to understand why you're doing this scholarship. If you want to think about it, you're trying to convince someone else to invest in you. So you have to really know why they need to do that. What's the best justification for them to spend a bit of money on you? They don't really owe you anything. You have to really make the case for why they are going to choose to invest in you. So in saying that, I think I've only got three major points that I want you guys to take as your key takeaways from my message today. The first one is that having a life plan helps to tie together your essays. So when I say life plan, I mean you typically need to understand where is in life at the moment. Whether you've come straight out of undergrad, you've done your 2 years work experience, and then you're really thinking about, well, what's my next stage in life going to look like? It's quite difficult when you're fresh out of uni. I can understand that much. It's probably a lot more easier if you've been in the industry for a while and you kind of know that, okay, I've done X amount of years working. What's my next career progression? So sometimes it's easier to approach it from a career perspective. So you could say, it's going to help me do this X, Y, and Z with my career in the next couple of years. So it helps you think. It helps you think through a process if you know what your plan is. Where do you see yourself in the next 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? It helps to tie together what this particular scholarship will do to either enhance your career or develop yourself as as a professional in PNG. Okay. Um, the second tip I have is you need to know why your institution you chose your particular institution, and by institution I mean the university that you've chosen to study at in the UK. Presumably, you would have done a lot of research before you approached the different universities, so you kind of have an idea of what strengths they have related to your field of study uh, um, or your profession. The university I chose, Oxford Brookes, had a particular um, strength in international development, but a big focus on the infrastructure component. And my life journey or my life plan, I knew I wanted to transition out of, I'd say, corporate, but into the more infrastructure space because I knew there was going to be a lot of money coming into PNG from development organizations, so our donor partners, and they're going to spend a lot of money in infrastructure, which they are doing at the moment. So it's when I say, going back to the first point, knowing your life plan helps you choose your institution because you can kind of align your essays with why your institution is a good fit for yourself. So those are two really kind of key considerations. Where's your life going? And is this university going to help you get to where you need to go in your life's journey? You might find it easy to talk about the course, a particular course module that is specific to the program that you're doing at the university. You might also like to talk about the connection to the industry, or in my case, it was a mix between a professor that was at that university who did specific research on the areas that I was interested in. So I'm interested in development in what we call the global south or the developing world, particularly around infrastructure. So there was a professor at the university that did specific research on that. So I was able to use that as I'll use the word leverage. I'll use that as leverage in my essay to give it a bit more substance. So those are the first 2 points, and I think the last point is around this idea of how to coordinate your essays with your statement of purpose. So a statement of purpose, typically, I'm not sure whether this is consistent with Wilma's experience, but in my case, I had to write a statement of purpose to the university as part of my application to Oxford Brookes. So I ended up using a lot of what I'd written for my 3 essays for the Chevening Scholarship to give me a direction on my statement of purpose. So, and then I use my statement of purpose to then inform and refine my 3 essays. So it goes back and forth until you kind of end up in a situation. And I think this is a really key tip. If your statement of purpose reflects your 3 essays and your 3 essays reflect your statement of purpose, you kind of have an idea on whether you've written really strong essay topics, or whether you've responded to the essay questions. Whenever the essays are kind of put out, they need to be quite consistent against all 3 essays. So if there's a theme that you're sticking with, whether it's a career progression, I think it's important to reflect it again in all of your essays. If anyone needs more tips on that, you can ask questions in the portal if you want me to spend a little bit more time talking about that. So I'm not sure if that makes any sense or whether that's coming across clear, but I'm just trying to stress the point that your essays need to be very, very consistent. You don't try and write something random saying, I volunteered at church as part of your leadership thing, and then not have it relate to why that matters to your where the other ones are. There needs to be like a common thread throughout. Generally, that would help you. It would make. Oops, sorry, my internet's just stable. Okay, we're back. Yes, so that's just if you're writing these essays and if you're applying for your university courses and you have to do a statement of purpose, just try and relate both these. Use one to inform the other. That's all I'm trying to say, really. If that makes sense, I'll leave it there for now and just open it up to any questions. I'm happy to take questions, whether you want to write it down or just unmute yourself and ask me a question or ask me my mind. All right. Just to give
Good
everyone a
evening.
chance.
I have a question.
Yep.
Okay, so my question is, when it comes to reference itself, like choosing a reference to write, right? Because I've viewed other scholarships as well. That's the referee. Does the Chevening scholarship program, does it give a format to write the reference, or it's just open when your referees are writing your reference? Like I've observed the one from Australian awards. They also have like prompts to guide the referees, and the one with the US, they have like the prompts to guide the referees, write the referees. But does it apply to Chevening as well, or it doesn't come with the format? It's just how your referee writes something about you.
Wilma, do you wanna so the questions are on references, and whether there's a particular format that is specific to the Chevening scholarship. My experience, well, to be fair, I can't really remember. I'm going to say no.
Yeah, it's we don't have a template. They left to, I think I can share something into the group chat. I think it was today I shared a link. If you see, sometimes the link, if you just have to open it up. I've come across from LinkedIn, and I shared it. So it's not template to follow. It's something that your referee will write a detailed recommendation about you if you can do the scholarship. You can go about you generally. So I'll probably look back into the group chat. Yeah, I think you're in the group chat, so I'll reshare it. But yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. We have
Thank you very much.
7 minutes. Yeah, we are using the free version, so we can't control whether the meeting goes on or not. So yeah. Those who are joining in who doesn't from think only, yeah, the reason I put my WhatsApp group restricted to only those who can join it, to have created your account online. It's a user friendly account, so as long as you can go onto the system and create your account. That's the first hurdle. I'm not like Chevening alumni are not IT web tech for Chevening. We're just an alumni trying to help you all with the scholarship. So if you're asking a lot of questions about, the portal and how to go about, that's something that you have to manage yourself. And we are happy to assist you with other areas, like especially with the essay. It's a global competition, and you competing against the world, against the Pacific, other young leaders from the Pacific. So, yeah. The WhatsApp group that I have is basically giving tips and providing informational sharing to help everyone with the answering the question and everyone benefiting at the same time. So whoever you're not in the WhatsApp group, I encourage you to send me a screenshot of your portal application that you've created your application on the portal, and I'll be happy to add you into my group because I'm really keen on working with serious applicants who have done the bit of researching. It's just too tedious. It's an intense process. Yeah. So any other questions? Thank you, Mia. Any other Joyce, I think you have a question. You sent me a message last night. You want to elaborate on that, or anyone else who have a question you can ask? We still have like some time. Um,
Can I jump in, Wilma?
yep.
All right. If you do have a question, please put in the group chat. But I just wanted to talk on one particular essay relating to the living in the topic. Is that still an essay topic, Wilma?
Sorry, come again.
Living in the UK, was that still a topic? An essay topic?
The studying in the UK, it's about the course subject. Now it has we write about 3 university. Now it has changed. The wood limit has changed to 300 as well. And you write about your first choice, why that university, why that courses, how it will help you, and yeah, what you bring back as a leader. And then you elaborate on your short term and intermediate plan. Someone asked about intermediate plan. I think it's basically what you come back and you can do, and then your long-term goals like 10 years plan. So intermediate could come under something that as soon as you come back home, you can do it. Like for me, I personally wrote about becoming a YouTuber. I've watched a lot of African you doing Chevening, awareness, and I've never seen like Papua New Guinean. So I'm like, I'm gonna do this. So I'm doing something about it, even if I'm not, have establishment or something. This is something that I can do short term as soon as you come back. So basically, yeah, short term and long term relating to what you all of these essay have to connect somehow. And you read a lot. My advice is you read a lot, but you're gonna be very careful with your words. Like if you're coming from a medical background or from you read about successful people and look at the words that they are using, the effectiveness of these words and how you can use it in your own story. Your story will be unique, and you will be selling yourself. So we're not gonna, using a lot of this. English is not our first language, first of all. So we're gonna have a lot of trouble writing. So these 2 months is a good time for you to continue editing and working on those essays that you have. It's not something that you can just do it in a week or 2 weeks and submit. Yeah. Any other pressing questions that um and if you want to, I'm offering like Hansley like 1 to 2 weeks. I'm just reviewing essay. I'm not doing editing or anything. I'm just from my experience of um, going through the process for like 3-4 times. I just make comments to improve the selling the story. So far I've reviewed I think 4 people, 4, 5, 6, 2 more to go. So yeah, it's quite good, especially those who are just trying out or second time, third time. Like it's quite competitive. I mean, having us willing to help you it gives you the bonus to help. Someone else posed a question. I think we have 3 minutes. Hi, Wilma. May you brief me on the IELTS English proficiency test? Um, it would be like for my advice, you're applying IELTS, you need it for your university application. Previously they said they need it for Chevening, but now Chevening doesn't need. So you'll have to focus on your portal, completing your Chevening application, and your IELTS you do it afterwards because it's another process of going through a test again. Like paying for it, preparing towards it. You cannot, spend 1,400 and score poorly on it. You have to do well. So I encourage you to really focus on your your application, fill in all the other, I think it's 10 or 11 section on the application portal that your work history, it's gonna automatically calculate what else, your personal information, and then the support statement is where you're going to sell yourself, whether you get a position into the like get into interview or not. So support statement is something that everyone has to really work hard on. Any other questions? We have like 2 minutes remaining.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you part of the WhatsApp group or no? If you are not part of my WhatsApp group, you can. Is that
I am.
Macy? Macy,
Yes, yes.
I think I saw Macy in there. Macy, is that Macy? Macy, can you unmute and say hi? One of our recent alumni from UK.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Good.
Macy. Good night, Macy.
Who's this? This is Mia.
It's
Yes.
Mia. It's Mia.
Oh,
Sorry.
hi, Mia. Hi.
Well, I'll chat to you later. So I didn't know you were in the group.
Good
Yes, so
night,
Macy
everyone.
will be added onto the group after she submitted a thesis. So she's still writing a thesis. All the best. 1 minute left and we'll be cut off. All right. See you guys on WhatsApp and link me up on LinkedIn if you're not connected with me on WhatsApp. And Nancy, if if you're thinking of just giving advice, you're part of the founder of a group, your own group. So please join us if you want to join the group and give advice. WhatsApp group, just let me know. I just have to get your consent first. The WhatsApp group that I have to provide tips for aspiring applicants. Macy will join after her thesis submission. So let me know about that.